Hello everyone, welcome back. So I thought today we might talk a little bit about making some stuff that we typically buy at the grocery store, but the grocery store versions aren't as healthy as homemade versions. They say if you buy something at a restaurant or something pre-made at the grocery store, if you make the same versions of those things at home, they're automatically healthier. An example would be like pepperoni pizza. If you make a pepperoni pizza at home, that pepperoni pizza is going to be so much healthier than a pepperoni pizza you would buy in the freezer section or at a pizzeria. So I thought we might start today with this week, talking about these things that are really easy to make at home, so that we can start making healthier versions of them that really aren't as hard as we think they are. And the first one is granola, right? So store-bought granola is often very high in sugar and very high in fat. And it doesn't need to be as high in sugar and fat as the grocery store versions are. So I'm going to make a really simple 5-ingredient granola with you today. And then what I'm also going to do is, a friend of mine recently had what looks like a super delicious one. She said her family loves it. I'm going to put that link on probably my Facebook page too. So anyone who's interested can also look at that YouTube video too, because that looks really good. It's got a lot of nice seeds and a lot of healthy components to it. Whereas the one we're going to make today is just simple, easy, 5 ingredients, okay? And the ingredients are oatmeal, cinnamon, vanilla, and the other ingredient is honey. Now, I bought this local honey in Michigan the last time I was out there. And it is pretty solid right now, which is normal for local non-pasteurized honey. So what I'm going to do to get it liquid is I am going to stick it in the microwave for about 30 seconds to make it liquidy. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter to that. Now, the peanut butter I buy is natural peanut butter. And I buy natural peanut butter because it doesn't have, so this peanut butter does have some added sugar in it. It has 4 grams of sugar in it, which we know that is the equivalent to a teaspoon of in every 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. And I'm going to mix that in. That's falling. See, now we have liquid honey. Yay again. So if you do buy local honey and it does turn solid, that's fairly normal, especially for a local honey. All you have to do is warm it up. I wouldn't warm up the whole thing. I would just warm up what you need as you need it. So there's 1 tablespoon of peanut butter. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and I had 2 tablespoons of honey. I might actually do closer to 3 tablespoons of peanut butter in this. Now, they say too, when you are making recipes, that recipes that call for sugar or honey, you can add 1/3 to 1/4 to 1/3 less sugar than the recipe calls for, and you won't notice a difference. I have to say, I've done that before. And to be honest with you, nobody notices. I always start with 1/4 less sugar than what the recipe calls for. And then I go down to 1/3 if nobody complains the next time I make it. So the 2 tablespoons of sugar of honey is a sugar, is actually 1/3, no, it's more like 1/4 less than what the recipe calls for. So now I'm going to mix in my mix my peanut butter and my honey together to make it nice and smooth. It smells so good already. I love peanut butter and honey. I make my kids peanut butter and honey sandwiches instead of peanut butter and jelly. They say local honey too may help with allergies. That's a little bit of a wives' tale, but I still try to stick. That's why I brought the honey when I was in Michigan, because we kept getting bloody noses, and I thought it would help with the bloody noses. All right, while we were there visiting. So I put some cinnamon. I just put a dash of cinnamon, and I'm just gonna put a dash of the vanilla. Ooh, that's a lot of vanilla. It'll be good. Can you ever have too much vanilla? Okay, so we have the vanilla, honey, peanut butter all mixed up here. And then we're going to take a cup of oats. So this measuring cup right here is a quarter that I have in my container. So I'm going to do 4 of these. Now when we're eating this, an appropriate serving size will be to have only a quarter cup. Now I say a half a cup for oatmeal or most starches, but that's prepared and cooked. Whereas with it uncooked, it's not swollen yet. It'll swell, and when you cook it normally. All right, and now I'm gonna pour my mixture into my oats. I'm gonna shut this off, put it down so you can see me mixing it. All right, so that's my 1 cup of oats. So this is going to be 4 servings of granola right here. You could easily double the recipe, and I'm going to pour my honey, honey peanut butter, cinnamon, and vanilla mixture right in. Granola is so easy to make, and like I said, store-bought granolas, they usually add so much sugar to them. And we're going to mix it up well with a spatula. Okay. You can see it's a little clumpy. Okay, now my oven is preheated to 300 degrees, and now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on a cookie sheet. The recipe says to put it on a cookie sheet with parchment paper, but I like to cook on my stoneware. So I'm going to switch you over. I'm going to shut this off again, switch you over to the stove where you can see me put it in the pan. All right, now I'm going to put this in the pan, and I'm going to space it out. Now it all depends on how clumpy you like your granola. So remember, once again, you can double this recipe to make 8 servings, or you can keep it at this 4 servings. But the serving size is going to be about a quarter cup. Okay? And now we're going to stick it in the oven. And after we stick it in the oven, we are going to flip it over. We're going to try to flip it over. I'll show you that process in about 10 minutes. So I'll see you back in 10 minutes. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Time flies, right? So I'm going to flip this over. I want to try to keep it as together as I can, just because I like my granola in big chunks. But if you don't like your granola in big chunks, that's okay too. Some of it is going to fall apart inevitably. Now it is warm, so it is soft. I'm going to do this last one over here. Okay. And now, back in the oven for another 10 minutes, and then we're done. That's it. Granola. Why are we buying it at the grocery store with all that added sugar? Okay, we'll be right back in 10 minutes. All right, so the second round is out. I've been letting it set here for a little bit so you can see that once it does get a little bit cooler, it will stay together. It'll fall apart if you don't let it set a little bit. So you want to let it set so that it stays together. That's if you do like these clusters in your, that's if you do like the clusters in your granola. So I'm going to package this up and I'm going to enjoy it in my yogurt. It's delicious. 1/4 cup appropriate serving size, and yeah, enjoy. I also forgot to add, if you wanted to add anything to it, now would be a great time to do that. You could add you could add some raisins, you could add some dates, you could add other dried fruits, craisins. I think almond slivers would be good. I would think you could even cook this with the almond slivers if you wanted to, so you'd have a nice toasty flavor. Or if you wanted to add some chia seeds, now would be a good time to add some chia seeds too. So that's when you're going to add all your extras is after. Okay, so I almost forgot to tell you that. So this is the granola, and like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see you again in a couple more days.